So tonight for dinner we are having some good old-fashioned fried chicken. And I'm just going to show you how I make mine. So I've started with chicken pieces in the bowl. What I have in here are 3 thighs with the bone in and skin on, and then 1 split breast, just like you see here, that I have cut in half just so that it's not too big. And I'm going to do the same thing for this one. I'm just going to cut it in half just so that it cooks evenly along with the other chicken. And just plop that in a bowl. Yes, you want bone-in, skin-on chicken. If you try to use a boneless, skinless chicken breast, just pull out your grill because it's not the same. You need that skin on to keep your juices locked in. Let me rinse my hands. Okay, so my first step in making fried chicken is a marinade. So what I have here is a pint of buttermilk, and to that I'm adding sriracha. Now you can add hot sauce of your choice, but the hot sauce really doesn't give it a lot of heat, but it does just give it an extra level of flavor. And the buttermilk, because it's nice and thick, it's going to help your flour adhere to your chicken better. Plus, buttermilk is a natural tenderizer, so it's going to help keep that meat nice and tender. So to this, I'm just going to add a generous helping of sriracha. Give that a good whisk. Alright. And then we're going to pour that all over the chicken. And we're going to let this marinate at least 2 hours. For me, it's actually going to be marinating more like 3 till I actually start cooking it. Just make sure you still haven't make a mess like I do. Make sure you have all your chicken pieces coated in that buttermilk and sriracha. So that's it. I'm going to put this in the fridge and I'll be back in a couple hours after I wash. Okay, my chicken has been sitting in the refrigerator for 3.5 hours. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of the marinade and put it on, this is one of those racks you use to cool cookies on. I just have that sitting on top of a pan. I'm going to take my chicken out and just let it sit on this pan for about a half hour. I want to let it room up to like closer to room temperature. I also want the excess marinade to be able to come, oh look at me, I'm just making a mess. I also want the excess marinade to drain off. And the reason for having this come up to a warmer temperature is I always let my meat come up to room temperature before I cook it, any meat, whether I'm grilling or frying or baking or roasting or whatever. When you have extremely cold meat and you subject it to a high temperature, it causes the meat to seize. Kind of picture yourself when you walk outside in the cold. I know it's the opposite, but you want to seize up and tense up. This is what the meat does. And then it causes it to not stay tender. It's going to stay tough. So again, just let your meat drain, and we're going to let that come up to closer to room temperature. So I'll be back in about a half hour. Okay, so my chicken has warmed up to room temperature. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start frying it. Here I have just regular all-purpose flour, and then what I'm going to add to it, I have some paprika, some salt, and some garlic pepper. You can use whatever seasonings you want to use in your breading mixture. I know in these parts a lot of people use Old Bay, seasonal, coarse ground pepper. So I'm just going to use my hands and get in there and mix that up real good. And then I have a cast iron frying pan just with some vegetable oh my gosh, vegetable oil in it. So I'm going to take my pieces of chicken roll them around in that flour mixture. Get it to stick good. And that's going right into the oil. And I'm going to put it presentation side down first. So my skin side down first. I'm not going to be able to do all this in the pan at one time. That's okay because I'm not cooking it the whole way in the oil. And I'm making a mess as usual. Alright, so over here, you can see it's starting to fry in the frying pan. All I'm doing is getting a good golden brown crust to it. Once I got it the color that I want, then I'm going to transfer it to a pan with a rack. So when it gets to that point, I will be back. Okay, so my chicken is developing a beautiful golden brown color. So I'm just going to take it out of the pan, and I'm putting it over on another pan with another rack on it. And it's going to bake in the oven on this rack. Now the reason for the rack is because I want air to flow under that chicken while it's baking. Otherwise, you know, when your chicken sits on the pan, all the crispiness that you've got on it now, you're going to lose that. It's going to get soggy, and then your flour mixture falls off. So this way, you get that nice hot air that just flows all around your chicken while it's baking. So I'm going to start the next batch of breast. And did you notice in the background, I was dying when I turned the camera off. I have my iPhone on shuffle for my iTunes playlist, and the song that was playing on that last clip, no kidding, was Zac Brown Band's Chicken Fried. That was not planned. I was dying. I was dying like, oh my God, I cannot believe that's the song that was on in the background. So anyway, start the next batch of chicken, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's all fried up. Okay, so my chicken has been fried. And again, it's not done inside yet, it's just the color that I want on the outside. So now I'm going to finish it the rest of the way in the oven. So I'm putting it in the oven at 375 degrees, probably for a good half hour, or until a thermometer that I put in it says 165 degrees. And there you have beautiful fried chicken, nice and crispy.